Here you are, face to face in this trashy bar.
Episode 3, The Psychology of Influence, How to Lead Without Manipulation. Welcome back to the Legacy Leaders podcast, where we look beyond performance metrics and get real about what leadership is actually made of. I'm Janice Elsley, your host for today, leadership and change expert, international author, and unapologetic believer in doing leadership differently. And today, we're cracking open a big one, influence. Not the social media version, not the polished persuasion kind, I mean true influence. The kind that earns trust without effort, that inspires loyalty without control, that doesn't need a script because it comes from presence, not pressure. Because here's the reality. Most people won't say it out loud. You can get people to move without ever getting them to believe. Now let's talk about pressure. Why is pressure-based leadership fails over time? We've all seen it. The leader who always gets things done, drives hard, delivers fast. But behind the scenes, their team is quiet, resentful, disengaged, and maybe you've been that leader. I have too, especially in high-pressure seasons. Yes, pressure can create short bursts of performance, but the science is clear. It does long-term damage. When people feel concerned or micromanaged, their brain triggers the fight or flight response. Cortisol spikes, creativity tanks. That part of the brain responsible for empathy and innovation shuts down. So what do you get? You get compliance, you get no commitment, you get task doers, you get no ownership. You might hit those quarterly goals, but you lose the long-term trust, the culture, and the innovation. And that's the price of pressure. Now let's talk about how influence begins with safety. Here's the shift that changed everything for me. Influence doesn't come from being the loudest or the smartest person in the room. It comes from being the safest. People don't follow who impresses them. They follow who sees them. True influence starts with safety. Psychological safety that says, you're safe to speak. You're safe to fail. You're safe to be fully you, that kind of leader. They don't just get results. They build loyalty and no bonuses can buy. Presence creates trust and trust creates that traction. And it's that traction that leads to the transformation. If you want more buy-in from your team, your clients, your community, don't push them harder. Listen to them more deeply. Now, let's move now from persuasion to partnership. Let's flip the old model. Instead of leading through persuasion, what if we led through partnerships? Here's what real connection influence looks like. Asking more than you tell, pausing more than you push, reflecting more than you correct. One of my go-to tools is something I call the mirror approach. It's simple but powerful. Rather than steering someone towards my outcome, I reflect what I hear from them. Phrases like, what I'm hearing is, or how does that feel for you? Or what would support look like right now? You're not losing control, you're gaining connection. You're not avoiding leadership, you're evolving it. This is influence without manipulation. It doesn't just spark action, it sparks growth. Now, this week's challenge, I want you to try this in real life. I want you to pick one person, a team member, a partner, a friend, a client, anyone. Have one conversation where your only goal is to lead them through listening. Here's the rule. No convincing, no pushing, no fixing. Instead, ask open-ended questions. Mirror back what you hear. Let silence do some of the work. Then reflect. What shifted? How did they show up differently? How did you feel when you weren't leading with pressure? This is the real shift from persuasion to partnership. If today's episode gave you a new lens on leadership, pass it on to someone who's trying to lead with more presence and less pressure. Because influence isn't about perfect. It's about being present. You don't have to convince people to follow you. If they feel heard, they'll want to walk with you. Until next time, I'm Janice Elsley, and this is the Legacy Leaders podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. If today's message sparks something in you, share it and tag me on at Instagram at Janice Elsley. I'd love to hear your biggest takeaways. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more leaders find this message. And remember, leadership isn't later, it's how you lead today.